Hello, everyone. Here we go. Yep. All right, cool. All right. Hi, everyone. It is Tuesday again. So it's Tuesday chat time. I'm Kerri, of course. For those that are new to watching me live, every Tuesday morning at 9 a.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time, I do a chat about anything art related. So if ever there's something in particular you want me to chat about, definitely message me or leave in the comments, and I'll definitely write it down on my list of all the many ideas I've had for doing a Tuesday chat. So I'm always looking for new ideas, so that would be a great help. Okay. So anyway, today I want to chat about my tips for drawing realistic eyes. So I'll just give it a couple of minutes and make sure this is all working and that you can hear me okay. Just wait to see anyone getting on. What is the time? I'm right on time. And so it's I really love doing these Tuesday chats because it gives me a chance to get on and connect with everyone, and also keeps me thinking, keeps me on my toes, thinking about things to chat about. So, like I said, this week I've got it's a PDF downloadable that I'm going to run through. It's all about. You may already have it. I've had it around for a little while, but I thought it'd make a great subject for a chat. So I'm going to share my screen, and you'll be able to see what I'm like, the actual download that I'm talking about. So I'll run through it, but there's a link as well. You can download it. I will paste it. Hold on, let me just see if I can't paste that in. No, wrong one. Hold on. I will find it and paste it. Bear with me 1 minute. I've got it in the description, the downloadable. If you're already in my membership, you've probably seen this, and also I've had nearly 5,000 people download this. So you could already have it, but like I said, I thought it would make a good chat. Okay, let me go back to there. There we go. Okay, so the link to download is in the comments as well. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just run through it. Hopefully, hi Odette, I'm hoping you can hear me okay. The video is very beautiful, thank you. All right. Okay, I'm going to share my screen. So let me have a look. And like I said, add comments if you've got questions about what I'm going to talk about. Definitely put those in the chat and I'll keep checking. I don't think I can see while I'm okay, while I'm sharing my screen. But if you've only just joined me, I'm just going to run through. I've got a downloadable how to draw realistic eyes, animal eyes. So I want to run through that and share it with everyone. Like I said, it's been around for a little while, but if you haven't seen it, definitely get onto that and download it. All right, let me have a go at sharing my screen. Oh, I think I can still see the comments. Awesome. That's great. Okay, so eyes are my most favorite thing to draw. And I was just thinking as I was going through this, for those in the membership, we haven't done any really close-up eyes for a while. So guess what? Guess what's coming? We're going to do some eyes, I think. I miss drawing just eyes. A lot of the stuff we've done lately, the eyes have been quite small because we've been doing a lot of full images, whereas I really do love doing some of these just eye studies. So maybe we need to do a few of them again. So anyway, this is the downloadable, and these are going to be some of my tips. So I'm going to go through this and share with everyone. Like I said, eyes are my favorite thing to draw, of course, as they probably are most others as well. Hi, Auntie Pat. And pastel, I think, is a wonderful medium to draw eyes in, of course. So let me just scroll through this to get to where I want. There is a materials section in this downloadable. Sorry for making you dizzy, but I'm not going to go through materials. I went through that the other week. If you go to my YouTube channel, Kerri Dixon Art, you'll see the old Tuesday chat where I ran through all the materials I use. So we don't need to do that. But if you haven't downloaded this, you'll get all that as well. Okay. So I'm pretty much going to read some of this as I'm going. So, because I'm not good at memorizing everything. So, all right. So, like I said, eyes are my favorite thing to draw. And I think as an animal artist, it should be one of the most important things as well for you to get really comfortable with. I know they're probably the favorite thing that most artists love to draw anyway, but you can really tell a story through the eyes. You know, they're the windows of the soul. And I think if you've nailed the eyes in your painting, then you've created a great painting. The rest, will fall into line with it. Okay, so it is really important as well to know the more you draw the eyes and of different animals, you'll start to get to know the different characteristics, of course. So in this little downloadable, we go through pets, because as an animal artist, of course, pets are probably one of the main things you may end up drawing, especially if you want to do commissions. It's one of the best ways to make money as an animal artist. So cats, dogs, horses are a big one as well. Sometimes birds as well. But so with each animal, of course, eyes can vary a lot. So not only the color, but also in the shape. So you can see in the 3 pictures on the screen, we've got the cat, the horse, and the dog eye. So cats have like a narrow pupil. So they have like a slit, but depending on how much light they're in, with it, look, just like any pupil, it expands, but theirs can really expand. I don't know if you see sometimes like what was it? It was in Shrek, Puss in Boots. They over accentuated the pupil, but when they wanted him to look really cute, they make the pupil really big and round. But when they want them to look nasty, you can make that pupil like a lot more of a slit. So you can adjust the pupil to also adjust the character of the animal in that way. So little tiny things like that can help. Hi, Maya and Jamie as well. All right. Like I said, add comments if you want. So even just adjusting the way the pupil is can also help tell a story as well. So I feel like, again, if they're rounder, there's more light on the subject sort of thing. I think is it round? Oh, sorry. It's rounder if it's darker. It's more of a slit when it's sunnier. Okay, so again, different things. If you've got a picture of a cat, like if you're doing a cat and it's in full sunlight with harsh sun shadows and all of that, then you're not going to have a really big round pupil. It would probably throw the picture off and make it look a bit funny. So things like that you need to know. And of course, cat eyes as well come in a huge range of colors and lots of details too in a cat's eye, most likely. They're probably, I'd have to say, one of my favorite eyes to draw is the cat's eye because of the variation and the detail. So yeah, a lot of fun. But again, you've got to think of these things and know these things. So say, okay, let's move on to the horse. So a cat eye, right, has the slit the pupil up and down. And like I said, unless it's in the dark and it goes rounder. A horse eye, the pupil is horizontal more. Okay, so you're not going to draw a cat eye with a horizontal pupil or a horse eye with a vertical pupil. Yeah, so things like that you need to know. I know we're working off photos a lot of the times, but sometimes if the photo isn't the greatest or you can't quite see it, knowing these things can really help as well. So it's sort of the horse eyes, like I said, it's horizontal, a bit of an oblong shape. And other hooved animals such as cow, sheep, and deer have similar pupils. Sheep, especially, like usually, horses' eyes are usually different shades of brown. Whereas I feel like sheep eyes and goat eyes, they can be a lot lighter. Oh, some horse eyes, of course, you get lighter in a white horse, and you can really notice the pupil then. So it's a really good way to study them when you can see it really well. The other thing I like about drawing horse eyes, we've done a few inside the membership, is because they do protrude a bit from the skull, I suppose. You get a lot of reflection. Okay, there's not a huge, there's still some shadowing on them, but usually you get a lot of reflection because they're really round. And a lot, like I said, they're protruding. So they're a really good one to tell a story through reflections. Okay, so keep that in mind as well with horse eyes there. Depending on what you want to achieve with your painting, like what story you want to tell as well, can make you decide what animal you might want to put in it for that reason. And yeah, horse eyes are so much fun. I can't really zoom up on this one, but because they do have such a lot of reflection showing, you can really get some colors happening in there. So this horse eye in the middle here has a lot of blue at the top reflecting the sky, and then it has a really bright green along the outer edge, which is in a grassy paddock, so there's a lot of green reflected there. So they are a lot of fun to draw, horse eyes. And then another quite popular pet, which probably the most pets you're going to get to draw if you're doing portraits and commissions, are dogs. So this one on the right is the dog eye. And most dog eyes are kind of almond shaped, and their pupils are round. They're the same as us, actually. Maybe that's why we connect so well with dogs. You know, you look into their eyes and it's like looking into a human's eye, I suppose. So yeah, their pupils are round, so keep that in mind as well. And a lot of dogs' eyes are quite brown, various shades of brown, but of course you do get some that have the blue, like you've got the huskies and some of the border collies, like the merles. And what's the Australian Shepherd? There's a few that have the blue, like one blue, one brown. But in general, most dog eyes are brown. Okay, so and again, yeah, get familiar with dog eyes, especially because you'll be drawing a lot of them if you're going to do commissions. Okay, so all right, what else? One of the other things, yeah, to keep in mind is the top of an eye. You'll see further on, the top of the eye always has quite a bit of shadow on it, and that's usually from the brow. And because the eye is a bit sunken, you've got the brow and the top lid, and that, depending where the sun is, of course, but 9 times out of 10, it's above the animal. So it will always cast a shadow, which you can see probably better in some of these. So this is wildlife. So again, depending on how far the eye is protruding from the animal's head, so we'll also determine like how much shadow is caused by a brow bone, and also how much reflection is hitting it as well. So like the cockatoo here on the left, their eyes are quite stick out quite a lot. So there's not a lot of shadowing. There's quite a lot of reflections in their eyes. Whereas say the cheetah is a bit more sunken. So it has quite a lot of shadow in that top area. And then the lemur protrudes a little bit, but also it has quite a big lid above the eye. So that also creates quite a bit of shadowing. Okay, so here's just some samples of eyes we've done inside the creative barn. The crocodile eye was pretty cool. They are amazing eyes, honestly. Crocodiles, they have the most amazing features in them and details. So if you like detail, go and look up on Pixabay a crocodile eye and have a go at drawing that, because they're amazing. All right. So reflections. Sorry about my croaky voice again. Reflections in eyes. So like I said before, reflections can totally tell the story. So especially like a lot of my paintings, I like to just do a real in-your-face close-up of the animal's head. So there's not a lot of story to be told there, but you can definitely tell a huge story in the reflection of the eye. So, and they're more than just a few dots of white in a reflection. Okay, think about it, what you want to tell, how you want your painting to come across. You might not want a big reflection to tell a whole story, but still keep in mind any reflection is never usually just a white dot. It's usually a reflection of what's around the animal. Okay. That sometimes you'll see a reflection that is just a white dot, and that's usually from the camera flash. If it's at night or in a darker area and they've used a flash as a photographer, you've got that white dot. But that's not really what you want in your paintings. You don't want it to look like a photo, so your reflection should have different details and marks in them, even if it is pretty simple as a white, like you've got a big white area. You'll see, I'll show you in the lemur a bit further on. You still want to add some little marks in that white area. Even like white's not a great color anyway. Usually it's got blue or something in it from the sky, but you want to put a few little marks in like branches or bushes or depending, again, you've got to think about where one of your animals situated, what environment it's in will be what's reflected in the eye. Okay, so this guy here, this is a fox eye, and as you can see, it looks like there's a forest like in his eye reflected, and this orange here looks a bit like a fire. It can be like, I don't think I really intentionally made it become that it looked like a fire, but when you look at it, it does look like a fire. So that can be a story in itself. You could be wondering, is he fleeing from the fire? Does it have a burrow in the fire? Different reasons why there would be a fire reflected in his eye. Okay, so you don't have to spell out the story 100% for the viewer. You want them to kind of create their own story. So keep them thinking, So yeah, so like I've got here, if the photo of the animal you're drawing was taken outside, you'll see the reflection of the sky and clouds. So it is very common to have blue in that reflection. One of the other things when I said like if you just see a white dot in a reflection, it's usually a flash from the photographer. But also, if a lot of reflections, when you zoom up on them, you can see the photographer in that reflection, and again, it's not really what you want. So this is when I'm talking about this sort of detail, is when you're drawing a bigger piece of work, of course. When you're drawing eyes quite small, then of course you're not going to see this type of detail. But one of the things, definitely don't have the photographer in the reflection. If it's really obvious, just turn him into a bush or a tree or something. Don't have like just the person and the camera shooting back at you, unless you want that story to be told that way. But most of the time you don't. You just want the scenery really reflected. Another, also, if you're taking animals in a zoo, not many zoos now have bars in them, in cages, okay? But some of the photos you might find on Pixabay, you might see a reflection of a cage. Like I said, it's very rare now to see that, but a long time ago, most of the animals in the zoos were behind cages. So you don't want that unless you want the story again to show that it's a trapped animal, then go for it. But if you don't want it, if you want it to appear that the animal is in the wild, then keep an eye on those reflections, especially from a zoo, photos you've taken from the zoo, okay? I know the zoos, we've got Australia Zoo here, and Dubbo Zoo is, again, amazing. And most of the animals are in, like, they're free ranging more or less. That, these are the zoos I like. If the animal wants you to see it, then you'll see it. Otherwise, they're usually off laying under the trees, sunbaking or doing what they're doing, and there's no bars or cages or anything like that. So yes, but it's just keep it in mind again. So say with this chimp here, this one's in charcoal. You can see that it's a very basic, simple reflection. So like I said, instead of just like a big round white dot, it's been broken up. Okay, so it could be anything. This one, there's not that much detail, but it's broken as if there would be trees or something breaking that reflection. Okay, so never do just a big round white dot as a reflection if you want it to look realistic. Okay. All right. Let's go down. I'll run you through. So again, this downloadable. If you're haven't seen this before, I think it's already in the Creative Bum membership. But if you're not in the membership, definitely the link to download this whole booklet is in the chat and also in the description. Yeah, she went to Australia Zoo yesterday. 760 photos. Yes, amazing stuff. Yeah, I love Australia Zoo. It's so cool. I hope you went to Bindi's Island, Dad, and got some photos of the lemurs. Again, the lemurs are free ranging on the little island in Australia Zoo. It's called Bindi's Island. Sometimes if you're lucky, they're sitting on the fence rail and you can get real close to them and take photos. If you're patient and just sit around, there's chairs and that you can sit at and they'll come around. Other times I've been there and they're just up in the trees and they don't want a bar of you. So, but I like that. I like it's up to the animal to choose whether they want to get their photo taken or not. But I've got some great photos of lemurs from there. So, all right. So also in this, they were up the tree. I did. Damn. Different times of day as well, I suppose, because the zookeepers come and feed them. So, yeah, I think they usually let you know if if it's the afternoon they're feeding them, that they'll come down. So, all right. So in this downloadable, there is a step-by-step of this lemur's eye. Okay, so I run you through step-by-step how I work, sort of my process. So you can see I've put a line art there. The one thing I don't think I've got included in this is the line art and the reference image, which I probably should put that in there for everyone. I might adjust this printout actually. Note to self. All right, so but it gives you an example of how I work through this. So the first thing, of course, I block in I always mark in the reflections first, and I quite often will just do it in white. even though most reflections aren't, you don't have any white at all unless they're a bright cloud or something. But I just like to get it marked in white, and then I can change the color afterwards. Oh, hold on. Sorry, my phone was ringing. And then I use, I like to, but you can do it all in pencil, depending on the size of the eye as well, in pastel pencil. But if I want a really bright eye, so say this lemur eye, I did block in with orange and yellow in pastel stick just to get it really bright. And then I just used a blending stump just to push it into the paper. Just because you're working, I work on pastel mat, so you need those initial stick layers pushed into the paper so that you can build up on the top of them with pencil. So just keep that in mind if you're using pastel sticks on pastel mat. Always push it into the paper if you want to add layers on top. Okay, and then I always mark in just in black where my pupil is, so I have a really basic outline there. I usually like to add a bit of blue or purple, deep blue or deep purple to the black pupil, just so it's not as flat. Black can be really flat. Okay, so then I just do a rough blocking again with my pastel sticks. You can get a bit creative and add some colors. So you can see I've added a lot of purples in this lemur eye in where the shadows are. And then I start with the details. So once I've done my blocking, that's kind of the blocking, sort of getting the values, getting the colors in the right spot. And then I build the details up. But of course, I've pushed all that pastel stick into the paper, so it will take more layers. Okay, so then I start to look at, again, I'm looking at my darks. So you can see in this picture on the right, I've sort of marked in my darks around the pupil, around the iris, sorry. And then slowly build up layers of pencil to give it a nice smooth finish and add all those details into the iris. You can also glaze with your pencil as well, because you got to think of textures as well, because the eyeball is wet, isn't it? So it's going to be smooth. So even though it's got a lot of detail, it's quite a smooth finish. So I always make sure it's nicely blended, and I'll run a pastel pencil very lightly over it all, and that just gives it a really nice light blend. And yeah, it just makes it look a bit smoother and more glass-like, I suppose. And then you can see in this right-hand side as well, the shadow at the top is more pronounced, of course, and that's because of that, like I was saying, that brow and eyelid and the sun is above, so it's creating a shadow there. So always keep in mind it's always darker at the top. The other thing to note as well with eyes is wherever that reflection is strongest, usually it's light on the opposite side of the iris. So you can see here the reflection, the strongest part is right at the top. So the opposite side of the iris, which is at the bottom, I've got yellow, so it's a bit lighter. So it's like the light is coming through the eyeball and coming out at the bottom. So if that light was, say, on the left-hand side, so that main reflection, then the lighter part of the iris would be on the right-hand side. Okay. What else have we got? I've talked about they're not just white blobs. So that's where you can see here. I'll go back up and just show you. See that reflection there? Looks like a bit of a white blob when I first put it in. So then I can add blue, like I've just marked it in because I don't want to lose it. So then I can come on top and add blues or browns or whatever color I see in those reflections. And then you can see down here, I've put little lines through that reflection as well. So it's not a blob anymore. it looks like there could be tree branches. It could be like that main one splitting the reflection, could be a tree trunk maybe, and then some of these little lines are branches. And the colors you want to use to break up your reflection is the color of the eye behind it. Okay, so because the eye behind there is like a brown from being in shadow, that's the color I've used to make those marks to break that reflection up. Okay, so colors in a reflection that are reflected, like the sky, the grass, the whatever's around it, they're the colors of the landscape around. But when you're breaking a reflection by adding lines of, that would be a shadow and stuff, that then is the eye color coming back through. Okay, all little things like this, and the more you study an eye, the more you'll start to notice that. You might be able to see a bit better down here. Okay, so you can see those breaks through that reflection I've got as sort of the color behind it. But if I wanted the sky reflected more, I could have it bluer in there. At the moment, that looks like it could be clouds in that eye or an overcast day, maybe. And then I've worked around adding first strokes as I go coming out, and a bit of detail in those lids as well to add the texture, and that helps. So you've got the smoothness of the eyeball, and then you've got this sort of skin texture around the lid, and then you come out into the fur. So texture is also a very important one as well when drawing eyes. Okay, and then this just goes through the fur, the little long whisker thing. So it's a really good little printout here, but sorry, downloadable. But like I said, I don't think I've got the reference image and line art included. I should do that. You can get, you'll see if you download this, you'll have the, I'll probably send an email giving you an opportunity to buy the video of 3 different eyes video tutorials, and the lemur's one of them. So that has the reference image and line art, but I should actually put it in here too. Okay, so just some tips and tricks. Before we go, I just wanted to share this horse eye. You can see how, like I was saying, a horse eye, because it's really sort of protrudes really round from the head, there's not a lot of brow bone shadowing it. So you always get a lot of reflection. So they're such a good eye to tell a story. So, and this one, you can see it's like a complete reflection there, and it's got a little foal in its eye that I made up. So you can take that as however you want that story to be, that the mother's just given birth, or it's another horse looking on, or, could be anything. Like I said, it's something that you want the viewer to determine to create the story, but you're giving them something to lead them. So the story might mean for you could be totally different to them. Okay. Again, you've got this really reflected eye, and then you've got the texture of the skin around it. We've got some lashes, and then I would then continue on building up the hair around it. Okay, so just a few tips and tricks as well. So block in the reflections first so you don't lose them, or the brightness. That's the other thing. With pastel, you can put light over dark, but if you want something to remain really bright, you're best to get the light down directly onto your pastel paper, because as you build layers, whatever one you're putting on top is going to blend with the color below it. So that's why I always try and get those reflections just blocked in, just in white right at the start. And that way they'll remain bright, and then I can dull them down by adding other colors on top. but I know I've got them in there, and they're as bright as they can be to start with. The iris is always lighter opposite to where the main reflection is hitting. What else? Add some deep blues, even purples to the pupil, so it's not just flat black. Like I said, black can be very flat, so it's not that often I would do an area in black. I add black to the fur and everything, but usually try and add some other colors in there. That was the other thing I didn't mention. When I am doing, especially cat eyes, I use, I'm just going to go up here. No, that one's no good. This one's probably good one to see it. I try and do my strokes, my pencil strokes, all toward the pupil. So in sort of go around the eye and have all the strokes heading towards the pupil. They do, you end up blending them, but if you can see a little bit in this lemur eye, you can see there are hints of lines coming out from that pupil. And when you study eyes a lot, especially cat eyes, I feel that that's sort of the direction the stroke should be going. And it just, another little thing that adds to it, I think, anyway. Glaze over the iris with a pastel pencil. Like I said, you can glaze. It's sort of just like when you're painting with oils and acrylics. You can just do a really light glaze over the top with whatever color you want to add. It's just a hint of that color, but it also helps to blend and make that that eye look smoother. The top of the iris is usually darker due to the shadows from the upper eyelid. Most reflections will have a hint of blue in them from the sky, and that, of course, is if the animal is outside, which, again, 9 times out of 10, that's the case, unless you're doing pet portraits, and maybe the animal, like if it's a cat especially, is probably going to be inside. Work out from the iris to draw the lids. One of the colors I use a lot in animal eyelids, tongues, noses, especially the center of the eye, is Caput Mortem Violet Light. It's a Stabilo Carbothello color, and it's just a brilliant color to have. So that's definitely something to put in your kit. And then, of course, you can step back, and then don't forget, you can always, if you want things to be lighter or brighter or deeper and darker, and your pencils aren't quite cutting it, go back to your sticks. Okay, the softer the pastel, the more it'll stand out. So you can always go back to your sticks at the end to add some more, so to add any details and everything. Okay, so let me stop sharing. All right, so hold on, I'm gonna do that. There we go, I'm back. Okay, yes, all good. All right, so like I said, the link to that tip sheet, that workbook, is in the description here, and I've also put it in the chat there. I'll add to this chat as well. When I get off, I'll find the reference image and line art for that lemur eye. I don't know why. I'll have to add it to that downloadable, but at the moment I'll have to redo the whole downloadable to do that. So what I might do is just add it here into this chat. And then, like I said, if you're already in the membership, you should have all of this anyway. But for those that are watching this and are new to me and want to download that booklet, it's a really great booklet and gives you heaps of hints and tips, especially if you're first starting out. And that lemur eye is a really good one to follow along with. So, all right, I think that is it. Thank you for joining me. It's been 40 minutes, so that's about normal for my Tuesday chat. I don't think I've got anything else to share. I really don't have much coming up at the moment. I've only just back home, finished babysitting, finished going to Brisbane, finished camping at the moment. We'll do some more of that a bit later, but I can now just sit down and concentrate on what I've got coming up. I do want to do another, I'll do another draw along, a free one, just a couple of hour one, probably over the next few weeks. We'll do something. We might even do an eye, and but I'll make sure I let everyone know. I'll just do it. Maybe we'll do it as a Tuesday chat. We'll do a drawing of an eye, for everyone to follow along with. And yeah, and also if you do want to learn with me, the link to the Creative Barn membership is also in this in the comments here as well. So the Essentials tier is open all year round, and it's only $19 US a month. You can trial it for the month, and cancel if it's not for you. But you'll see there's lots and lots of stuff in there. That Lima eye tutorials in there, along with pretty much everything else you saw in that little booklet as well. So, all right, guys. Once again, just let me check. Hold on. Make sure. No, I haven't missed any questions. No. Awesome. Okay. Thank you, guys. And I'll see you next week. And have a great day. Bye.